Hey, it's Drybear. The new Tome Stone event has gone live in Final Fantasy XIV, and it's something you don't want to miss because there's actually some pretty cool rewards here in this. If you've never been part of any of these Tome Stone events, these pop up occasionally. You'll be able to do various activities, collect a unique Tome Stone, and there will be vendors in the starting cities you can go up to, and you can use those Tome Stones to buy really unique things. There's actually a bunch of mounts in here as well. The ones at the top are the Magitech Predator, the Ixion, and the Megalotragus. Those are up there at the higher value of cost, but there's also a bunch of mounts that you can really only get from EX trials by completing them as a rare drop. Nightmare, one of the rarer ones. There's even some MGP you can get from this as well. So you will want to look at getting these. If you don't have any of these mounts, you want to pick these up, you can. There's also some pretty rare earrings that usually come from these. So if you want these Parks earrings, sorry about that weird zoom in, you can pick those up as part of this event as well. So you need a certain amount of Tome Stones in order to lock any of these items inside of this event. If you're looking for the mounts or any of the details or any of the home furnishings, they're very specific recolors of the mounts that are the chest pieces that we have here by job, and then all the extra mounts, cards, things like that. Those are all available inside of this. How do you get the Tome Stones is the question. And I'll leave a link to the official post down in the description, but there's a lot of options for collecting these Tome Stones. All of them require you to do a regular duty. You have to queue up as a group. You cannot unsync this. You have to have the level sync option applied. I've tried this. They've also mentioned it here. In order to get this, you have to do this as a group. Some of these are eye level synced, which will be a little bit harder, and some of them are not. The highest rewarding options here for these is going to be the Tower of Paradigm's Breach from Shadowbringers, and then Praetorium. All three of the options for the Duty Roulette main scenario, which is the end of ARR, the first base game, all of those will give Tome Stones. The one that gives the most is Praetorium, but it's also the longest, has a bunch of cutscenes and a lot of talking, a lot of chatting that goes on with it, but it gives you 7 when you complete that. You'll get 6 when you finish the Puppet's Bunker. You'll be able to get 5 of these when you do the Copied Factory, so all of the Alexander raids will give you options for getting these. You get 3 or 5, depending on which of the PvP queues that you do, and they're all relatively quick as well. You can get 4 from these level 50 dungeons, either Castra Meridianum, which is again the end of ARR, and it is part of the main scenario roulette. So if you do that every day, it gives you a bunch of XP for any job that you want to level from 50 to 90, or you can do Hullbreaker Isle or the Tamtara Deepcroft Hard. All of the dungeons here listed, Cutters, Sunken Temple, and Zemail Dark Hold are available. And then again, Porta Decumana is the main scenario roulette option for killing Ultima after they had swapped it out and done that. All of these Alexander raids give 2 each, so you'll be able to run these if you want. Some of these are pretty quick if you want to be able to pick them up. Cinder Drift's pretty fast. A couple of these are pretty fast if you want to just pump them out. Now, I've looked at some options for what is the most viable. What is the fastest way to farm these Tome Stones if you want to clear out this vendor? The fastest is probably going to be Blue Mage. Going in as a solo, because Blue Mage you'll be able to queue into these duties without having to wait for other players, so you'll have that option there. You could probably even find other Blue Mages to do this with, but running Cutters over and over and over and over, you could probably get this dungeon done very fast in a matter of minutes. And then you can clear that out, get the 3 Tome Stones, and run that rapidly. Probably not the fastest, but the most comfortable that I'm probably going to be doing is just run your main scenario duty roulette. If you have any jobs left to level that you want to get from level 50 up to level 90, because you have to be 50 to queue for it, is just run that. And at worst case scenario, you'll queue into the Porta Decumana, which is going to be 3 Tome Stones for the vendor. If you get Castrum, it's going to be 4. And then, of course, if you get Praetorium, you'll get 7. So minimum, you'll be getting 3 Tome Stones for that, plus a boatload of XP. It's a great source of XP to run that roulette. Again, you have to be 50 to do it. And then in best case, you'll get 7. Now you can queue Praetorium over and over and over to get plus times 7 on each of these. It's probably actually pretty efficient. It's going to be kind of mind-numbing because you're just running through watching the same cutscenes over and over. Again, you can't skip these cutscenes in the end of ARR. They want the new players to experience it without being pressured to skip with other veteran players that are in there with them. So you cannot skip it, just to make sure everyone watches it, including the new players. And Praetorium gives you 7. You could probably get some really nice value out of doing PvP, super fast farming, especially if you know what you're doing when you go in there, and then doing the Alexander raids. If you have a group that knows what they're doing, you can jump in and clear this out. We're already starting to see the duties start to fill up with people that want these tomestones for the vendor. So that is a nice option. And, again, probably the simplest answer is just to do your main scenario duty roulette to get your XP. And then if you have other options you want to do after that, you can. Some of the Shadowbringers raids are actually pretty quick. If people know the encounters, you can get these pretty fast as well if you have these unlocked. In the 3 starting cities, you'll be able to see a marker on your map. For ease, the locations here are shown on screen, so you can actually just go to these if you're looking for them specifically. But if you load into game and you boot up your map, you actually will see the icon for the vendor on your map. You'll be able to go over there and turn those in. And the full list of these is on the website as well, and also in game. So you can get, particularly for me, I'm most interested in the mounts. So if you haven't picked up some of these mounts yet, most of these are available in the game in other places. It's just this is a very easy way to get them. A lot of these are your extreme trial rewards for various expansions. Nightmare is one of the harder ones to get, as this is a rare drop, but the rest of them are just kind of drops from the bosses. If you have a level 90, especially if it's a tank, you can easily farm these if that's what you're looking for. You can also get, you can turn excess tomestones into MGP if you want. There's all these kind of customizables here. Extra cards. There's 2 pets that are in here, the succubus and the black hayate. So you got those there, and you've got options for selecting that. But it's an easy way to farm a whole bunch of mounts, some pets, some cosmetics, and you'll get it just by doing the queue. So again, you have until the 6.4 drops, which is planned right now for late May. We don't have an exact date. So you probably have 3 to 4 weeks to do this, maybe longer, but I wouldn't really count on that. So if you're looking at just doing the easy way, what I would recommend is if you just want a couple of the items here, just do your main scenario duty roulette. Like just boot into game, go up to your duty roulette, and just queue up for main scenario. It's a very easy way to level jobs if you're still doing so, and it's a great way to get 3 to 7, and then from that as well. Run the PvP. You can also just queue directly into dungeons. If you really have the temperance and the patience, you can do Praetorium over and over again for seven tomestones each. And that is it. If you enjoyed yourself today, leave a like down below. You can support me and my work on Patreon and view Patreon exclusive content, link in the description. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.